And so I'm Grahame. I'm from Australia, and that's a bit of context for this. So in Australia, we're super enthusiastically adopting IPS. We haven't done anything with it yet, but we're going to. And I'm not happy with the healthcare system in Australia. And here's my opportunity to hit it with a bat. So this is what this session is about. So let's take it the prototypical IPS usage. In the general IPS usage, we provide a patient with their IPS by some method. QR code with an SH link, or we email it to them directly, or we give it to them, and one way or another they get their IPS. And then the patient carries their IPS by some method. Either it's in a repository somewhere and they've got a token for that, or it's on their personal digital wallet on their phone, or they print, I don't know, some way of carrying it. We don't care what it is. And then they present at a clinical service, and rather than the clinical service saying, here's a form to fill out with your medical history, such that the patient can get confused and feel stressed and write down the wrong stuff and omit things that are important and get all flustered, and nobody likes filling out those forms. It's one of the biggest pieces of feedback to the healthcare system. Don't make us fill out these forms. So then the idea is that the patient has a way, whatever that is, we don't care about the method, to provide the healthcare system with their IPS. Their summary of their medical history and their current medications and allergies, intolerances. That's the whole point of the IPS. That's why everybody's pushing the IPS, right? That's where it's all going. But what if the patient can turn up and present some doctor's authored patient summary? What if they can also present their own? What if they can say, this is what I want to tell you? And my concerns as a patient are not the same as your concerns. When you fill out a form, you don't ask me the questions that I want to tell you about. And so that's what I'm chasing here. What a patient can provide their own IPS that they've authored themselves on a system that signs the IPS and is part of the trusted network, and then presents to the clinical service the stuff about the patient that the clinical services are not very good at caring about. So I am hitting the system with I'm trying to leverage the system to behave differently. And I have lots of collaborators here who are really angry with the system that we have in Australia, in particular hospitals. Now, my parents-in-law live in a retirement village. My wife works in the retirement village doing pastoral care. We get lots of feedback through that social connection about how awful it is for an aged care recipient to go to hospital. They get healed medically, but they come home deeply wounded because they haven't been looked after. Their independence needs have been disregarded. I have the same connections through my work with the disability community in Australia. It's the same. They go and they get to hospital and they get cared for in a very narrow sense, and they get disrespected in other ways. And so what I'm trying to do is give them a voice, give them a way to have that voice heard, and create a political expectation that will matter, that will start moving the system. And I have lots of collaborators within the government going, yes, we want to move the system. So let's show you what I'm actually doing. So first of all, what is it the patients want to tell the healthcare system about? We assume that we will get a healthcare summary that's a good summary, good, we could come back to that, but we won't have time, but good summary of our clinical situation. So probably let's not focus on that. What's not in there is our story. What is it? Who are we? Where did this come from? And for some patients, it doesn't matter. But for other patients, it totally matters. And what are our goals? Again, for some patients, goals are obvious and default, but for a lot of patients, it's not. You've got a cancer patient, and the cancer patient says, look, my core goal is to be alive for my daughter's wedding next year, right? And I'll sacrifice quality of life to do that, and I'll sacrifice life expectancy afterwards to do that. And other patients go, no, that's not my goal at all. Those matter. I wanted to tell you about my care limitations. I don't take blood transfusions, or I have a DNR. I need to tell you about my family. You can not talk to my ex-husband. Don't talk to my parents either. But you can, my medical power of attorney lies with my son, just me for my mother. Sometimes it's really important to tell you my cultural identity. If you're in the main culture, for wherever you are, irrelevant. But in Australia, if you're Indigenous, it matters. And the same happens in a number of different countries around the world. And it's not something that the healthcare system captures. We capture religion in Australia and make sure we get religion right so we can get you the right pastoral care. Not that anyone cares anymore, pretty much. But we don't do that for culture. And then functional status. This really matters for disabled patients. I've heard some woeful stories. I've collaborated with a nurse practitioner in Australia whose father was referred to a hospital, went to hospital, and they called her and said, look, your father's not got many hours. Get here because he's, And when she got there, she found that he was deeply disorientated and confused and behaving really metabolically badly. But it was actually because he had extremely narrow tunnel vision and they didn't orientate him and he didn't have any idea and he was too embarrassed to say that he couldn't see what was going on and he wasn't blind, he didn't know how to behave. And when she sat down and sorted that out, it was all fine. But patients die for this stuff. And then family care information I talked about, and then mental health needs as well. So that's the kind of things that we're interested in. And I know I just have a new project after last week, working with a dementia expert in Australia around characterising dementia needs. And so the application, you can, if you're online, that's my missing slide, you can go and look at the application right now. So it's on my personal website, healthintersections.com.au. And so if you're online, feel free to go there right now and you'll see the patient document generator. So it's a little form. We fill out this kind of information. It's work in progress. I just made that bigger. What happened? Well, it'll probably go away again on me. And I'm going to go work through some of the sections in a second, but I'll just show you generally what happens. You come here, you fill out the details, or you just say, I'm lazy and I'm interested in the IPS part, and so you automatically fill out with one of the test patients. And then you can generate the actual document. And now the document's been generated, you can generate a QR code, which is a smart health link, which is not working. Oh, here it is. Here's a smart health link. And so you can go open that document in the standard IPS viewer. Or you can download it in various different forms, including a PDF, where the actual IPS is an attachment inside the PDF, which I think is really important for dealing with patients, because you give them a patient summary and they're like, what is this thing? I don't know what this thing is, and I don't know what to do with it. And until their phones and their operating systems natively support it, which we're working on, but until then, they just, what is this thing? Whereas if you give them a PDF, they know what to do with it. And then the actual IPS is tucked inside the PDF. So that would be, I'm trying to get that adopted as a appendix to IPS. There is a way to say, I want to give you an IPS, a PDF that's an IPS, it's just attached inside. And so then, yes, it comes up and here you go, here's it visible with my funny test data for the test patient in the IPS viewer, but it could be visible in any IPS viewer. And should you want to, you can right now point your phone at the QR code and access the document directly yourself. So, ugh. What happened here? It just fell out. Okay, so let's go and look at the actual application. About me, name, date of birth, national health identifier if you know it, country code, next of kin, cultural identity. If you care about these things, for Indigenous Australians, both culture and place matter. They have a very concrete interpretation of place. Preferred language, religion if it matters, gender if it matters. And then this one is an interesting thing, it's sexual characteristics, because you may be one but not conform to the normal expectations. And then the author, whether the document was authored by you or, in my case, by me on behalf of my mother-in-law, say. And then here is my story. Who are you? How would you describe your health? What matters to you? And actually, this is proving difficult for actual patients because they're looking at it going, "Oh, big wide open thing. What do I do with this?" So I'm going to provide a whole bunch of templates that you can pick from a template and then customize your story. So I've got to do that. And then some specific goals that you have and whether you feel like you're making progress with regard to those goals. Then this section, which is here purely for the sake of IPS compliance. I don't really think this is not my focus, my interest, but I'm told that if I don't have it here, I'm not a proper IPS document. And clearly, given my goals, I need to be a proper IPS document. So your allergies, your ongoing health issues, medications, past events. Past events is a real problem. If you look at a typical clinician, like if I look at my wife's medical history in her GP system, one of the medical history entries is methotrexate. It's a medication. It's not a medical history event, but it's what the doctor put there because it carries so much information, right? So coding this stuff is really hard, actually trying to nail the value set down. But since I could, I can show you this. This is actually, I thought it was a working, here you go, a working lookup. So this is a very simple HTML control hooked up to Michael's Onto server for the Australian test Onto server with a value set that I chose off the Onto server. So it's easy to hook it up to any service, to any value set. And if you want to have a form that's hooked up to a terminology service, you could just copy the HTML, which I got from Michael in the first place. So thanks, Michael. So it's also like a technology demonstrator. Then in the care planning, my name and address of my care advocate and whether they have legal power of attorney. And then something that came up through family consultations, who do you want me not to talk to? And then a few specific care planning things. So one theory here is that most cases, if you actually say, what's your care plan? A doctor's going to go, I just need to read the document. So you can attach the actual PDF, but there's a few things that you want to index on. You want to do decision support on, and so we pull them out as specific checkboxes. And then care needs. And here, this is based on all the consultation I've done with disability advocates. I've got concerns around vision. I'm not going to grade blindness. We talked about trying to grade blindness with some kind of medical blindness or, grading system off ICF. And the patient feedback is, no, I don't know. No, I don't even want to try. Not only is there accuracy concerns, I don't want to make those statements. I just want to tell you that you need to talk to me about these things. Vision, hearing, cognition, my ability to speak. I might have very good cognition without being nonverbal. Mobility, gender-specific concerns. Another one, past trauma. Some hospitals can be particularly traumatic for victims of past rape, sexual abuse. So, you really need to work with me on this. I might need help with eating, drinking, getting out of bed or moving around in bed. I need to tell you that I have a communication device and you need to cater for that. So I need to talk through a device. We have another list of possible issues that we're considering. And if you have any connections with disability advocates or disabled patients, I would love to hear feedback about this list. And finally, body part census, because this is not typically carried in a clinical summary, and yet some of this stuff really, really matters. Bits that I have, or you can set default values for gender out. Bits that I might be missing, bits that actually matter, bits that I might have artificially added or never had, or each has a status of transplanted or implanted or missing or not present at birth, lost, whatever. So again, interested in input. As one more thing I want to show you, if you are an IPS person, you can actually ask for the IPS mappings to be shown, and then all of the mappings and all of the SNOMED codes will actually be shown in the user interface. That's it. Do we have time for questions?
I think we have 1 minute left.
Okay. Any quick questions? Yeah, Grahame.
Thank you. Close to home, I guess. Is it possible to add, or would this be the right place to add PROMS results to a patient's history? The reason that I'm asking is there are some PROMS instruments with just 2 questions, but those questions over time give a lot of real objective feedback, clinical feedback to the doctors, clinicians. I know that this is not the purpose, but can this be extensible?
It's not my purpose, and I haven't yet considered whether it's like a framework that should be extensible, or you could just take a copy of it and extend it yourself. I haven't really worked through in my head which is the right model for that. Other pressing questions?
Any more questions?
One down the back, Rick down the back there.
Hi, good stuff, Grahame. Could it be a FHIR questionnaire? Standard questionnaire or adaptable questionnaire?
I suppose it could be. I mean, it would be wrapped around a questionnaire, but I didn't do it that way because I just asked it. Actually, AI did a lot of the work for me, and that would just make that much harder. Anyway, that's time, right? So I'm very interested in feedback, particularly from a patient perspective. I need to do a few more technical extensions, but yeah, let me know how you feel. I have ongoing collaborations with mental health and dementia, and I'm going to the Let's Build tomorrow and saying, what is it that women would like to say that is not catered for here? So thank you very much.